So boys, here we are, Borussia Dortmund rebuild. Obviously, I put this up on the community page asking who you wanted to see this week. Borussia Dortmund was very, very far ahead. Look, they're not doing great at the minute. They're an amazing German team. They're actually my favorite German team. So this one for me is really, really fun to do. Obviously, they're like, 18 or 20 points behind Bayern Munich currently. They're sitting in like 8th or 9th. Not really where Borussia Dortmund should be. They should be up in like 2nd or 3rd, fighting for titles, pushing Bayern. But they've just haven't really had that run of form. And obviously a few injuries and stuff hasn't helped too. But we are here to save the day, boys. Obviously, one of the things that's absolutely fantastic at the club, as you can see, they have no net debt. They have absolutely nothing. Yeah, 23 million in transfer debt, but that's honestly not hard to get rid of. So that's a good start. The fact that we have nothing financially to deal with. And then obviously with regards to like the things that they've won, they have won a Champions League. It was in 1997. So it's something I would like to try and rectify through this rebuild, is at least turn them into a really, really good dominant Champions League team. Even if we're not winning the Champions League all the time, just look, we're up there, we're fighting, we're pushing the big teams. They've also won the Bundesliga, but the last time they won it was in 2012 because Bayern Munich tend to win it a few years in a row, but they have won the DFB Pokal Cup. This is probably one of my favorite looking cups in the game. It really, really is. But the last time they won it was in 2021, so that's good. Like, we have a recent cup victory. Obviously, with regards to the squad, look, they do have some fantastic players. One of them is obviously Gregor Kobel, a fantastic keeper, still only 26 years old as well. Nico Schlotterbeck, one of their centre backs, also absolutely fantastic. He's German. He's only 24. Really good in the air, 6'3", little one-footed, but something we can work on with individual training. Then obviously in beside him they have big Nicholas Süle, a little bit older, 28, but he's also German, big physical player. On loan they also have Jan Kote, but as you can see this has also been confirmed, so we do have a good young right back. He's only 22, used to play for Man City. Also fantastic players like Emre Can. Look, he's 30 years old, so probably somebody we would look to replace at some point. He is a little injury prone, but a absolutely fantastic player. He's also German, which helps with registration. Then young Felix and Namicha, he's only 23 years old. Really, really, really good player. Good attacking player, good mentality, consistent, enjoys the big games. Traits that I love to have in my players. He's also German. They also have people like Karim Adeyemi. Obviously, as the football manager years have went on, Karim Adeyemi's not just as good as he used to be. They also have Yusuf Moukoko, but he's currently out on loan for the season, so we're not going to be able to play him. But Adeyemi, honestly, probably one I would look to move on. Julian Brandt, another one that's absolutely fantastic, German, 28 years old, really, really talented player. Then on top of that, they also have a new striker, Guirassy, who they got from, I think it was German team. Yeah, Stuttgart. He had a release clause of 15 million, so obviously they activated that. Look, big Tarn player, 6'2", big physical player. So one that we can, you know, I like my physical players, so this is going to be a fun one. Of course, then young, exciting players like Giovanni Reina had a few injury problems over the years. Unfortunately, just hasn't developed like they want them to. Hopefully, going forward, he can get rid of the injury problems because he is a very exciting player in real life. But they do also have some really, really good squad players as well, like Rami Ben Sabaniel. I think I probably got that wrong, but who cares? Look, 29 years old, really, really good defender. He's going to be, look, obviously all these players are going to get a lot of football. We're playing in a lot of competitions, but he is very, very good. Then they also have Anton, 27 years old, German, obviously a very, very good backup. Young players like Prince and Ning, just look not ready to probably play in the first team, so left back's probably a position we're going to probably need to look at, but got some young talent. Then young, exciting players like Jurien Duranval. I know Giddens is also another one, still only 19 years old. But jumping over into the team view, as you can see, look, this is how I would probably set out the team. Obviously, the tactic may change a wee bit over time, but look, I'm trying to try new tactics. This one's pretty exciting. Look, you don't see many rebuilds where you get a chance to play with a 4-4-2, and I think they have the players to do this very, very well. Kobel, Annette, Schlotterbeck, and Sully as the centre backs, and then Kote, like I said, wing back on the left-hand side is somewhere I think we do really kind of need to look at. Reina on the left as an inverted winger, then Emre Can and Namicha in the centre of the park. Adeyemi is the inverted winger on attack, then Brandt in behind Guirassy. Obviously, over time, like I said, I will probably look to get rid of Adeyemi and probably make this Moukoko, because I think Moukoko is just a way more exciting player. Adeyemi over the seasons, obviously with a few injuries and stuff, he's degraded in his football manager stats. He used to be absolutely ridiculous. He's still very, very explosive, a good player. I would keep him around the squad and obviously have him and Moukoko interchange, but like I said, we do need a left back. I don't know how much money we've got. 8.5 million, not a ton of cash, but look, if we can get rid of some players and probably move a few people on, Left back is going to be, for the first season, the position we really, really need to strengthen. Prince Ning is good, but just not ready to probably play as a left back. If he has to play there for the season, look, it is what it is. But I'm going to go do a little bit of business, see if we can bring some players in. So we only ended up selling one person in the window, and it was Jurien Darrenville. Arsenal come in and offered 5 million. I said no, they said 8, and I was like, right, okay, because he wanted to leave. Look, I would have liked a wee bit more money for him, but I would needed to get some players out the door to bring some players in. Allen was meant to go to like 3 clubs. Aston Villa offered for him, Newcastle offered for him, I think it was West Ham and a couple of other clubs. He rejected all of them and wants to stay. We were getting like 14.5 million for him, which would have been nice on top of the 8 million we got for Durnval, but he apparently wants to stay now, so we didn't get as much money as we thought we would have. And also on top of that, we also got a massive injury to Guirassy. He was out for 4 to 5 months now, which isn't exactly great at the start of the season for a player that we just brought in. So I had to go out and get us a striker. So I brought in Nelson Viper. We got him in for a total, I think it was like 3.2 million. Look, we have no option because we don't have a ton of cash. Loaning players in gets very, very expensive. My plan was Viper is currently on a free at the end of this season. I was going to wait till the end of the season, get him on free, but our hands kind of got forced with Guirassy being out for, look, he's out for like 5 months. Then by the time he comes back, it's full fitness. Like, you're probably talking, he's 6 months. He's probably not going to be back until, I don't know, February. And obviously we can't play with no striker until then. So I brought Viper, and like I said, 3.2 million. He's only 19 years old. He's German, helps with registration. 6'4", big physical player, has a good mentality, super consistent. Look, he was the one I wanted to bring in for long-term replacement for Guirassy. Look, unfortunately, we had to bring him in now, pay a wee bit of money for him. It is what it is. And then, like I said, we also needed a left back, so I've brought in young Luca Netz, another one, German, 21 years old, has a very, very good mentality, super consistent. He's got room for improvement. Did cost us a total of about 11 million. Look, honestly, not bad for a player of his caliber. He's also 6 foot, which is going to help with a wee bit of physicality in the team. But then I did also confirm the loan deal of Hassan Cuadrado. This is one I do want to bring in full time. This is going to be one I would like to have a replacement for Emre Can, because he's, what, 31 this year? And in Football Manager terms, it means you're pretty much dead. Joking aside, look, this is the person I do want to have as a long-term replacement for him. So we brought him in, loan deal for the year. He's also got an optional fee of 14.2 million. So this is one I do want to activate. 6'3", big physical player, 18 years old, German, got a good mentality, super consistent. So he's one of the first ones in the door on loan. Then another person I have brought in on loan is Noah Darvuch from Barcelona. Once again, 17 years old. He's German. This is going to be, once again, a long-term replacement for Julian Brandt. So boys, then, with everybody in the door and everybody out the door, this is what the team is going to look like for the first season. Kobel, Netz, Schlotterbeck, Sully, Yankote, Adeyemi, Namache, Can, Reina, Brandt, and behind Viper, obviously with Guirassy, with that massive injury, Viper's going to get a lot of football. I didn't really want to have to play him straight away, but look, at the end of the day, we get Viper some football and he gets to progress, and the only way he's going to get better is if we play him. And like I said, I want to try and bring as many good young German players into the team. Obviously, Hassan Cuadrado and Noah Darvuch are ones I do want to bring in the future. Hopefully, we can get them a lot of football this year, and then they're happy enough to come and sign for us. So that is going to be the team for season 1. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody good on approach the signs. And then obviously in March when the youth intake comes in, at the start of April, we'll come back then. Hopefully we can get some good players for the youth intake. Dortmund do have good youth recruitment, so I'm hoping over the seasons that we do this, see if we can get some good young German players coming through our youth system. But boys, that's enough messing about. Let's go play season 1. So we've got the April to the youth intake, but first we have a couple of transfers. I end up getting rid of Malen over to Newcastle for 15 million. Then we also get rid of Ryerson. We got rid of him to Spurs for a total of 12.5. So between that money and the money from Malen, I was actually able to confirm the signing of Noah Darvuch. So I loaned Darvuch in and Hassan Cuadrado in with the opportunity of basically being able to bring the both of them in. Yeah, I got 11 games out of Hassan Cuadrado, and then they pulled him back from his loan. Noah Darvuch, I'm lucky enough, they were like, he's not playing in the position that we want, but he had that 16 million clause and he was happy to sign for us. So I basically put in the offer for the 16.7 million? Yeah, 16.7 million. So I put the offer in, give him the contract, and then 2 days after I give him the contract, they pulled him back from loan, but because we already had the transfer accepted, we ended up getting him. So he came in January. Look, it's been a wee bit of a clusterfuck, but our youth intake actually looks pretty decent. The top 4 guys actually may have some serious potential. First one is a guy called Okan. He plays as a right back or centre back. Look, he's 6 foot, got a good mentality. He's Turkish. He's only 15 years old. He looks like he could be very, very good. Got a lot of talent. Decision making of 14, determination of 15, 15 tackling, 14 technique, a good work rate, physical stats. Obviously, I don't really look at physical stats when we're like 15 or 16 because all this is going to come up with time. But he has potential to be a pretty good centre back. Then probably the pick of the bunch is this young guy. It's Patrick Abedu. He is German, only 15 years old, but he has a fantastic mentality. He's a little inconsistent, but not going to worry about it just now. Like I said, he's only 15, but he's got 15 dribbling, 14 finishing, 13 passing, 14 technique, physical stats and mental stats looks pretty decent. Then we have this other guy. Honestly, he would probably be the best player if I'm being serious. He's Bosnian, only 15 years old, got a fantastic mentality, super consistent, he has some yellows for a 15-year-old, which means he may have some serious potential. He's got 15 heading, 13 passing, 12 technique, 17 work rate, 16 teamwork, 17 determination, 14 bravery, 14 balance. He's honestly, being serious, I thought the other guy was really, really good, but this guy may actually be the best one out of them all. Then we also have Lucas Bayer, 16-year-old German defensive midfielder. Look, 6 foot already. He's getting 19 teamwork, which is crazy. Technique is fantastic. Flair's good. Determination's good. And like I said, he's also got a good mentality, and he's only 16 years old. So honestly, a pretty solid youth intake. So boys, the end of season 1. Like I said, with this save, all I want to do is take Bayern off their pedestal, because let's be honest, they've won the league a few times. Obviously Leverkusen have won it once, but apart from that, the last 10 years it's just been Bayern's reign of terror, and I want to take Borussia Dortmund back up there. Look, they deserve a wee league title, so let's see if we did it. So we started off the season very, very strong. We got a really, really good win over Bayern Munich. We started off the scoring through Noah Darvuch. Then the 69th minute, they helped us along with a nice little OG. 10 minutes later, we made a 3-0 through Big Ramy. 5 minutes later, with another blunder from their keeper, Malin slipped in to make it 4-0. And then 1 minute later, we actually made it 5-0 against Bayern Munich. Malin got himself on the score sheet again. 5-0's crazy. But then we went away to Leipzig and got brought back down to earth. They ended up beating us 2-0. They started off the scoring. On the 73rd minute, they made it 2-0. But then we did hit back against Bayer Leverkusen. We ended up beating them 3-0 right at the end of the season. We started off the scoring through Young Reina. Darvuch then made it 2-0. And then to wrap things up, young Bido Giddens made it 3. So boys, we ended up finishing second in the league. We did very, very well. As you can see up here, played 34 games, 23 wins. We did have 7 draws. Heidenheim, St. Paul, Werder, and Augsburg and Kiel as games I think we should honestly be winning. Look, I know we're gonna draw a few games here, but like a couple more wins, a couple of these draws were just a couple of wins, we probably would have won the league. 4 losses: Frankfurt, Bayer, Leipzig, Hoffenheim we should be beating, because Bayern ended up winning the league by 3 points. So a couple of those draws ended up losing us the league. We could have honestly won it this year. But the thing that makes me happy, Big Viper's top goal scorer. Like, with the strikers that's in this league, especially Harry Kane, like Harry Kane is absolutely, look how good Harry Kane is. And Big Nelson Viper's up there with 26 goals. He's also in there for average ratings. Nets is in there for assists with 15. You just can't see Jan Kote is in there for yellow cards. He only got 3rd. Look, I always say, my players are going to get a bunch of yellow cards, at least be first. But team stats wise, most points per game, we ended up 2nd. We're very, very close behind Bayern. Most goals, we scored 100 goals, which is absolutely insane, considering like there is very, very good teams in this league. Bayern, Leipzig, and of course Bayer Leverkusen are very, very good. They have some amazing players. We just played absolutely fantastic. Most shots for Bayern's ahead of us, but we had 502 fewer shots against. Leverkusen had the best defense. Us, we were down in 5th, but we are playing very attacking, so I expect us to not have an absolute ton of clean sheets. Most clean sheets was actually Hoffenheim of all teams. We're in there in third. We have 13 clean sheets. Fewest conceded. We have the second best defense in the league, and we scored the most goals. That's a pretty good season for me. And like I said, look, no matter if Bayern only beat us by 3 points of the league, like I said, if we can knock down, look, 2 of those draws, we win the league. But the league has been very, very good. How do we do in the cup? So unfortunately in the cup, we get knocked out in the second round. This one, it was probably the one I was least happiest about. Look, we should not be getting beat in the second round. We are way better in this. There's no excuses. We just played terrible. So this is something we need to improve on next year. So then that took us over to the Europa League. We were in Group B. We started off really, really strong with a 4-0 win over Lille. Then we beat AEK 2-0. Somehow after all those good wins, we could only draw with Ludogorets. But on the second match against Ludogorets, we ended up winning 2-1. Had a very hard-fought win against Lille. We ended up beating them 4-3. And in our final match of the group phase, we ended up beating AEK 4-3. So that meant in the group phase, we ended up winning our group, coming first. Ludogorets actually ended up going through. Lille were bottom, which is absolutely wild. We had 16 points. The closest they also was 8. So then that took us to the round of 16 where we faced off against PSV. In the first match, they were at home. They started off the scoring. Just before halftime, they ended up adding a second. On the 60th minute, they ended up making a 3-0. Not gonna lie, that was a banger of a shot. Then 4 minutes later, with some terrible play from us, we ended up letting them in again. They beat us 4-0. But in the 84th minute, we got ourselves 1 goal back through Borussia. It was only a second game back. They beat us 4-1 on the night. Which meant in the second leg, we had our work cut out for us. We started off the scoring in the 4th minute through Big Nelson Viper. Then 6 minutes later, he added him second goal of the game. And on the 14th minute, he got himself a hat-trick. But he wasn't done there. Within 18 minutes, Nelson Viper had himself 4 goals. But then just before halftime, they got themselves back in. Just after halftime, we equalised again through Sabitzer. 2 minutes later, we got another goal through young Bido Giddens. Then in the 76th minute, they scored to make it 760 us on aggregate, which means we go through. Which then took us to the quarterfinals where we faced off against Bayern Munich. I don't know why Bayern Munich is in the Europa League. They started off the scoring through Harry Kane. 4 minutes later, they added a second. Then just on the stroke of half time, they made it 3-0 on the night. Which meant in the second leg, we had our work massively cut out for us, being 3-0 down in the first leg. They actually started off the scoring in the 69th minute. Some terrible defending from us. On the 74th minute, they then added a second through Musiala. But we weren't done yet. On the 82nd minute, we get back into it through Viper. Viper then got a second goal in the 87th. But that is unfortunately where our Europa League ended up finishing. Look, I don't know what Bayern Munich are doing down here. I wish they weren't here. Because like of all the teams, look, we're already in the German league. And now we're facing Bayern Munich in the Europa League. And even in Europe, we can't get away from them. But we had some fantastic performances from some players. Kobel, 44 games played, 52 goals. Like I said, we're playing very, very attacking. So our keeper, we're going to concede a lot of goals. But he did have 15 clean sheets. Then Big Sully played 43 games, 7 goals, 2 assists, and a 7.1 for the season. Then Big Schlotterback played 40 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and an over 7 rating again. Big Rami, while he didn't start a lot of games, he only started 9. He got 24 off the bench with 1 goal and 1 assist. Lugan Nets had a really, really good season. 42 games played, 3 goals, 16 assists. Then his buddy on the other side, Jan Kote, played 32 games, 4 goals, 9 assists. Then, of course, Emre Can playing in the middle of the park. He started 30 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, but he did have over a 7 rating. Then in beside him, of course, we were playing young Felix. He actually ended up getting a couple of injuries. As you can see, he only started 23 games. He had 2 goals and 12 assists. So 14 goal involvements in 23 games. Just unfortunately got injured a few times. Young Giovanni Reina, once again, he also had a few niggles. He only started 27 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. Kareem Adeyemi, another one that didn't really start a lot of games. He had only 14 starts, 25 off the bench. Once again, another one that had a bunch of injuries, but he had 9 goals, 6 assists. Julian Brandt, one that actually did really have a good season. 38 games played, 9 goals, 14 assists. Young Gittins actually got a decent amount of football this year. Started 18 games, 8 off the bench, 8 goals, 5 assists. Then young Noah Darvuch, of course, I did drop him into the deep line playmaker role just in behind Viper. Started 33 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. Not bad for his first season. One I'm actually really, really excited to bring back next year. He went out on loan and only started 2 fucking games. I really wish we had Moukoko. We basically just wasted a year of development by loaning him out for him not to play. Then Big Garassi, of course, did miss pretty much like 3/4 of the season. Didn't start any games, 22 off the bench, but he got 5 goals. Then, of course, the big man up top who had a phenomenal season. Viper started 46 games, 34 goals, 5 assists, and a 7.4 for the season. He's also improved quite a lot. So team-wise, I'm actually pretty happy with the vast majority of the players. Kobel, Nets, Schlotterbeck, Jan Kote, Moukoko, obviously going to have him in here next year instead of Adeyemi, Namicha, and then Brandt out on the left-hand side, Darvuch and Viper up top. Obviously, there's a few positions. Emre Can, look, he's a good player, but he's about to be 32, and I have actually brought someone in to replace him for next year. And that person is young Can Uzun. This one is already confirmed, as you can see, costing a total of 10 million. Look, 19 years old, he's German, 6'1", complete with both feet, good mentality, super consistent, has a lot of room to improve. So he's going to be the one that replaces Can Uzun. Is he going to come in straight away? Probably not. They're going to interchange quite a lot. I'm just not going to throw him straight into the team and get rid of Can. Can's a great player, but this is the long-term replacement for him. And then, like I said, with regards to centre-back, there's a lot of people looking at Sully. It's Real Madrid, Man City, so I would say we're more than likely going to lose Sully at some point. He is also going to be 30 this year, so I would like to bring someone in a wee bit younger to replace him. I don't know who yet. I don't know how much money we're getting for initial transfer budget, but boys, all in all, a good season. Did fantastic in the league. Unfortunately, just too many draws. Probably more than likely ended up costing us the title. The cup, we're not going to talk about the cup. We're going to pretend the cup didn't exist. And in the Europa League, we're just unlucky. You know what I mean? After having a really, really hard fought 2 legs against PSV, we go and get Bayern Munich. Like, we couldn't have got anybody else in there. Nope, had to get Bayern Munich, the team that we're fighting against in the league. But all in all, boys, I'm very, very happy with the first season. I think with a few improvements, also having Moukoko back instead of Adeyemi, I think is going to massively improve. And then, like I said, the young players that's in the team, they're just going to keep getting better and better and better. But all, boys, a very, very good first season. I'm going to go and do some transfer business. Actually, we'll come back and I'll show you how much money we got when the transfer budget comes in. So we ended up getting it within the next 2 messages. We get 40.5 million. I'm very, very happy with this. I can do some serious damage with 40 million. Boys, let's jump into season 2. So boys, moving into season 2, obviously there's players in the team that we talked about. Look, positions we needed to strengthen. Look, if I want to push up in the Champions League this year, we're going to be playing a lot harder teams. We're going to need 1, a bigger squad, and 2, quality in the squad also has to improve. I think we've done pretty well with the players that we've brought in. But first, let's go show you the players that left. One of the first ones out the door was young Karim Adeyemi. Like I said, if I got an offer at some point, it is a player I do want to get rid of. Look, I think we can all agree Karim Adeyemi's just not as good in this FM as he has been in previous FMs. Got rid of him for a total of 25 million. I think this is a really, really good deal. Newcastle was the only team that was interested, and obviously they have the cash, so we moved them on. Then the next one out the door was Nicholas Sully. Like I said, this is one. Look, he's got to be turning 30 soon. Obviously, look, he's a fucking very, very good centre back, but just because of his age, look, if we go 3-4 years into this, unfortunately, player stats with regards to like their physicals start degrading. I really, really hope it's something FM kind of start to work on, because a lot of players seem to be playing a lot longer now. Look, advancements in like medical and recovery and people's nutrition and all that sort of shit. Like, people are playing football for longer. So Liverpool come in and offered us 25 million, working its way up to 35 million. So I took it, and he's out the door. So then the next one out the door was Malin. He went to Newcastle for a total of 15 million. This is one, once again, I kind of wanted to get out the door. Then the next one out the door was Anton. He went to Leon for a total of 7.5 million. Look, one of those ones, look, he's just not that great. He's going to be 30 this year, and I wanted to try and cash in on him. We are also in the process of selling Giovanni Reda for 34.5 million over Leverkusen. We're just waiting on the contract, as you can see the bid here. Look, he's injury prone. He also wants to leave. He's in the last year of his contract, and he won't sign another deal, so we may as well. Look, this is one I would have been happy to keep Rena, look, as a really, really good squad player. But, like I said, because he's only got 1 year left in this deal, and he has no interest in signing a new contract, we may as well cash in on him. And previously, we already agreed the purchase of xuanduong. I think this is one, like I said, going to be a long-term replacement for Emery Can. But we are also going to need a wee bit of strength at the back after selling Sully and selling our other centre back, Ryzen. Look, we're a wee bit sort of short at the back, so I have brought in Samson Beidou for a total of 14.7 million. Look, he's absolutely fantastic. 6'2". Physical stats are amazing. He's only 21 and a big unit of a player, but he also has room to improve. But he's not going to be the one that starts constantly all the time, because I brought in Tanguy Nianzou. Look, he was transfer listed. He was upsetty spaghetti at Sevilla. Got him for 22 million. I think this is absolutely fantastic. So it means we now have a few good centre backs that I'm very happy, because usually that's the thing. Like, if you take out your first two centre backs, usually the people you're bringing in, you're kind of like, they're not just as good. I'm very, very happy. If I have to bring Samson Beidou in to cover for Schlotterbeck or Nianzou, I'm very happy with that. But the big one that came in the door was Matthias Tell. This is one, he was on my shortlist. A bunch of people were going in and offering for. I think it was like Arsenal were in for him, Atletico Madrid or Leverkusen, and I think Chelsea. So we basically put a bid in. We were the ones, I went a wee bit higher. Everybody was offering like 32.5 million, so I went 32.5 million up front, and then working its way up to 35 million, and he came in to us. Look, Matthias Tell is absolutely fantastic. He's only 20 years old, has a ton of potential, got a good mentality, super consistent, can play with both feet. He's 6 foot, so it adds a wee bit of physicality to the team. I think this window we've done very, very well. So this is pretty much what the team looks like with everybody in the door and everybody out the door. We have Kobel, Nets, Schlotterbeck, Nianzou, Yankota, Darvuch, Can Uzan, Namicha, and Makoku. I don't know why I couldn't remember his fucking name there. And then we have Tell up top and behind Viper. Look, he's going to play as a deep lane forward. He's a wee bit more nippy. He's a good passer of the ball. And obviously Viper, look, the kid just knows where the net is. Like I said, Giovanni Reina is going to be going out the door. But Brandt is also upsetty spaghetti. Like I said, he's in the last year of his contract, so we only have until January to get rid of him. I also have Uzcan, did try to get rid of him, listed him, nobody was interested in. Guirassy may be going out the door. Ajax offered us 15 million, and then the board came in. No, they offered us 18 million, and then the board came in, and we were like, we want 22. It was like, fuck me, for the sake of 4 million, just let me get him out the door. But unfortunately, they said no, and we couldn't get him out, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But boys, this is what the team looks like for season 1. Obviously, like I said, last year, we just had too many draws. We played fantastically. If we could just cut down like 2 or 3 of those draws, we have a very, very good chance of winning the league. Obviously, the cup, we need to do a lot better. And then this year, we're in the Champions League. So we're going to see how good our team is against some of the best teams in the world. But I'm very, very happy with what we built. I think bringing in Tell and Darvuch and Can Uzan and Nianzou, also Beidou, into the team, we have a very, very good squad. But boys, I think that's going to be the team for season 2. Obviously, I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody decent for approach assigns, and then I'll bring you back in the start of April for any players that are good for the youth intake. If you don't see any of that, it just means it was shit. But boys, let's go play season 2. So we've got to the January transfer window. There is 2 players I'm going to put in for. One of them is Mark Gahey. Obviously, we need centre backs. We need quality centre backs. He's also on a free. And like I said, if we can get him, we're the only person that's currently put in for him. That'll probably change in a couple of days, but we'll wait and see. Like, it's been 3 days already and nobody has offered. So I'm hoping we can get him on a free. But the other person that's on a free that's out of contract is a little interesting. And that person is Lemania Mall. I don't know why he's about to be out of contract. As you can see, we've put a bid in, but there is other people that want them. Us and Napoli. I'd say we could fight off Napoli. Like, we really, really could. If we can get Lamal in on a free, look, if I had to pick any of the 2, I would take Lemania Mall out of the 2 of those. Like, if we can have Lamal on one side and Okoku on the other side. So boys, we're at the end of season 2. Like I said, for me, it's all about progression. Every single year just getting better and better and better. It's all about baby steps. Look, you can go and just completely rip a team out and just absolutely fucking kill them. For me, it's just like bringing players in here and there and just like building the team up. Because Dortmund is my German team and they have absolutely fell off a cliff this year. They're so far behind Bayern, it's actually ridiculous. But I think we had a very, very good season. See how we did in the league. So we started things off in the league against RB Leipzig. It was a very, very hard fought game, but they actually started off the scoring. Then within another 10 minutes, we were 2-0 down. But we weren't out of the game yet. Viper stepped up to make it 2-1 with a great penalty. Then just after half time, Brandt made it 2 each. But unfortunately, on the 60th minute, They actually won the match with the Samson Beidou OG. But then we had a fantastic 1-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen. Young Bido Giddens with the only goal. So then we went on to slap the brakes off Bayern Munich. We started off the scoring at halftime through young Can Uzan. Noah Darvuch then made it 2-0. Samson Beidou then redeemed himself after the OG to make it 3. And then Big Tanguy Nianzou scored a goal to make it 4-0 against Bayern. Which means after some of those great victories, we actually won the league, boys. We had a fantastic season. Some players had a very, very good season. But this is what I wanted. Like I said, I want us to just keep progressing every year. Look, this is a league I think we can build a fantastic team. And one thing before we jump in and we look at the results, we did confirm the signing of Mark Gahey, so he will be coming in the summer on a free, along with the signing of Lamine Yamal. This helps strengthen our team. And also Lamine Yamal is one of the best young players in the game. So to get him on a free, fantastical, boys. But as you can see, we actually ran away with the league. We played 34 games, 27 wins. We only had 3 draws against Frankfurt, HSV and Hoffenheim. 4 defeats all season. Honestly, we lost to Bayern and Leipzig. I'm happy enough with that. Look, it's teams that you're going to drop points against. Freiburg, they seem to have a good team. I don't know why. And Werder, we should be beaten. But then we had 69 goal difference, 84 points. Bayern were behind us with 73. So we had a very, very good point difference. But also on top of that, the teams around us just conceded a lot of points. Like as you can see, we have Bayern, they lost 9 games. Bayer Leverkusen lost 9 games, whereas Leipzig, they lost 10 games. So like on top of us just playing well, they also didn't play great this season, which I mean, I'm not going to complain about. But the thing that makes me happy once again, Viper, dude, this kid, look, was bought super early, wasn't planned on bringing in the first couple of seasons. I was going to bring him in, loan him out, and give Garassi a ton of football. Then Garassi get that big injury in the first season, and then he just came in. He's now cemented himself as our main striker. As you can see, 22 goals for the season, joint first with Kane. And then Matthias Tell is also in there in third. So both of our strikers are in there for goals. And then the average ratings is the thing that makes me the most happy. Look, to win championships, you need your team to perform. Viper, Tell, and Nets all in there. Nets in there with 14 assists. Then we also have Kobel in there with 14 clean sheets. Considering how attacking we're playing, I'm very, very happy with this. Matthias Tell in there for player of the matches. Another one I'm super, super happy with. I know we paid a wee bit of money for Matthias Tell, but it's one of those ones. Look, he's a very, very young, exciting player. 35 million's a lot of cash, but I feel like it was really, really worth it. Stats wise, look, most points per game was us, 2.47. Most goals, we scored 106 goals. So like I said, if you also want this tactic, it will be in the pinned comments down below. I feel like this tactic is very, very good. Then most shots for, we're in second. We're a wee bit behind Bayern. And then fewest shots against, we're down in third. I'm happy enough for that. Most clean sheets, we're in second place. So we scored the most goals. We're in second place for most clean sheets. We're down in fourth for most conceded, but I'm happy enough for that. Look, we go out to win games. And unfortunately, sometimes to win games, you're going to concede a few. But if they score 3, we just score 4. So with the league out of the way, boys, honestly, I'm very, very happy with this. You know I'm always super realistic and I don't bullshit. Just I wasn't expecting to win the league this year. I thought it would take us probably 3 years by the time we build up a team. We have a lot of young players in the team, so I was thinking it's going to take us a few seasons to get those young players fucking rocking and rolling and then win the league. But I'm very, very happy with this. Viper, look, Viper's probably one of my favorite wonder kids in the game. You put the kid up there, he just scores goals. But boys, that's the league. How did we do in the cup? So we actually started things off in the quarterfinals against Freiburg. We ended up winning on penalties 3-1. It wasn't a great penalty shootout. We won 3-1. We had 1 miss. They missed 3. So that means we went on to the semi-final, where we faced off against Leipzig. We started off the scoring through Schlotterbeck. Then Big Haller made it 2-0. And then from another corner, 3 corners, 3 goals to put us into the final, where we actually faced off against Hoffenheim. They started off the scoring in the 10th minute. Then it took us another 15 minutes to get back into the game. A great ball from Nets in the Viper. Then in the 87th minute, we got a goal to win the cup. Nets across the Haller. It's good to see both our strikers getting goals. So that means, boys, we have won the league. We have won the cup. Look, the cups, you know, I always do well in the league. I feel like I always do well in the league, no matter what save I do. The cup is where I always seem to have a horrendous time. So to win the cup in the second season is absolutely fantastic. But how did we do in the Champions League? So we started things off in the league phase with a nice 4-2 win over Olympiacos. We drew 2 each with Leipzig. We actually beat Arsenal 1-0 at the Emirates. Then Newcastle beat us 2-1 at home. We then suffered a 2-0 defeat to Benfica. Inter Milan then beat us 2-1. But then we got a nice little 2-1 win in our last league phase match against Copenhagen, which means that took us into the playoffs. As you can see, we finished 20th. Look, a few defeats, but against like sort of big teams, so I don't really mind. I will be looking to progress up the table a little more as we move along, but that took us out into the knockout stages, where we faced off against a very, very good Liverpool side. They started off the scoring in the 39th minute. Then in the 60th minute, unfortunately, they made it 2-0. And that was the first leg over with, which then took us to Anfield, where we had our work cut out for us. They started off the scoring in the 28th minute, where it made us 3-0 down. But we hit back pretty much straight away through Brandt. Then they scored again just before half-time. Sebastian Haller then made it 2 each on the night. But unfortunately, that's where our Champions League run ended. Look, the 2-0 defeat in the first match at home kind of sank the ship for us. But look, we give a good count of ourselves. 2 each away at Anfield is a very, very good result. If we would have done better in that first match, we would have probably stood a better chance. But look, we won the league, we won the cup, and got to the knockout stages of the Champions League. I will be looking to play a lot better in the Champions League next year, but I'd say bringing in Mark Gahey and Lamine Yamal would help us do that. And of course, having Big Kobel and nets is absolutely fantastic. Played 50 games, conceded 55, but like I said, we are playing a very attacking tactic. We're going to concede goals, but our goal is to just outscore the enemy. We got 19 clean sheets. Young looking nets had an absolutely fantastic season. 42 games, 4 goals, 22 assists and a 7.2 for the season. I actually ended up playing Emre Can quite a lot on the right hand side because Kote just ended up getting hurt quite a lot. He had 36 games, 12 goals and 6 assists and a 7 rating for the season. Yeah, and Kote, on top of getting a few injuries as well, just didn't perform. 23 games started, 16 off the bench. He only had 4 goals and 4 assists. Then this is why I ended up starting to play Can at right back. Right back is probably somewhere we're going to need to look at this season. I think we just need a wee bit more quality because Kote just doesn't seem to be doing it, but he's only 23, so no, I mean, he does have time to progress. Then of course, Big Schlotter back in there, 43 games played, 7 goals, 5 assists and a 7.2. He did also sign a new contract, but in that contract he wanted a minimum fee release clause. He would not take this out, so we may lose him for 56 million, but if that happens, look, it is what it is. In January I'm going to try and give him a new contract and get rid of this because I do want to keep Schlotter back in the team. He's big, he's German, and he's only 26. I actually ended up playing Samson Beidou quite a lot more in this season than I did Nianzou. They did rotate quite a lot. Both of them got a lot of football, but he played 31 games, 5 off the bench, 2 goals, 2 assists. Nianzou started 18 games, 17 off the bench, 3 goals, 1 assist. Darvuch for his first season at 19 years old, played very, very well. 39 games, 6 goals, 12 assists. Kanuzun, of course, playing in the middle of the park, is progressing very, very well. All those green arrows going up makes me so happy. 48 games played, 6 goals, 8 assists and a 7.2 for the season. Then of course in beside him in the middle of the park, Namicha, 32 games played, 4 goals, 9 assists and a 7.1 for the season. Yusuf Mokoku's one I would like to see a wee bit more out of, but look, he's still very, very raw. He's still only 21. The first season get absolutely wasted. We had loaned him out, obviously I couldn't control that, and he just didn't play any games, so he just got wasted the whole first season. Look, still not looking great over here, but he's only 21, and as you can see, he could still improve a lot. Him and Lamal are probably going to fight for this position, but he played 44 games, 5 goals, 6 assists. It is 6.7, so I would like to see his performances come up again this season. Then, of course, Matthias Tell up top, 45 games played, 23 goals, 7 assists, and a 7.2. Not bad for his first season for a 21-year-old. Then, of course, the big man up top, Viper, 37 games played. He had a few niggles here and there, so I didn't get to play him the whole season. 26 games, 6 goals, and a 7.3. Look, we bought him for 3.2 million. He's done very, very well. Still got a wee bit of a room to improve, but I think we've got ourselves a very good striker. Then, of course, Julian Brandt, another one. I was actually able to get Brandt to sign a new contract. Like I said, I don't want to get rid of him. Look, he's 30 years old. I want to keep him around the squad. Yeah, he's valued at 84 to 92 million. If anybody offers us 80 million, look, we would have to really, really evaluate this. But Brandt's a player I want to keep. He's German. He's a fucking very, very good player. He's happy. to play as a squad player. He played a lot of games. 23 started, 23 off the bench, 8 goals, 6 assists, and he can play in a lot of positions, and we need versatility in the team. Sabitzer, another one that got a lot of football this year. 32 years old. I'm happy once again to keep him around the squad. Started 8 games, 38 off the bench, 3 goals, 4 assists. Then big Sebastian Haller obviously filled in whenever Viper couldn't play due to injuries and just a wee bit of tiredness. Started 5 games, 20 off the bench, 10 goals, 3 assists. He is currently wanted, but as you can see, his value is only 1.2 to 2.6 million. He's currently going to be out of contract soon. I couldn't get him to sign a new contract. He didn't want to. So we're probably going to need to look to bring in maybe another striker next year. Then Maximilian Bayer, look, he's unhappy that he's just not getting a lot of football. Who actually wants him? Borussia Mönchengladbach, look, he started no games, 6 off the bench, 2 goals. It's just unfortunate. Look, there's just so much talent in the positions that he plays. It's just unfortunate he didn't get a lot of football. But look, if we're being realistic, he's not that fucking good. He really isn't. And if they want to come in and offers 15 to 16 million, I'll probably take it. Then, of course, we do have Özcan, another one I'm very, very happy to keep around as a squad player. 6 games started, 19 off the bench, 1 goal, 3 assists. Young Prince Inning, obviously, we loaned out for the season just to get him a wee bit of football. He played 33 games, which makes me happy. Another one I'm probably going to loan out again. I don't think he's good enough to play for our team, and if he would be, he'd be a backup. But he, like I said, 33 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists. But this team, I am very, very happy with. I really, really am. Obviously, with Lamine Yamal and Mark Gahey coming in, there's going to be a lot of rotation around the squad. I'm probably more likely going to do this, and then Mokoku and Lamine Yamal will probably more than likely rotate. But if I'm being realistic, I think having Schlotterbeck and Mark Gahey in here, and then Lamine Yamal out on this side here, or switching Tell to the inverted winger and putting Lamine Yamal as the deep line forward, I haven't really overly decided yet. But boys, this team has done very, very well. And of course, our scouting budget, our transfer budget, we get 72 million. So like I said, I feel like right back is a position we need to basically implement. We need someone a little better in here. Like I said, Gahey and Lamine Yamal in here, so these positions are going to be filled. But I think we need a better right back. Obviously, Khan would be fantastic, but he's what, 32, going to be 33 this year. So look, we need to replace him. So we may have to spend a wee bit of money bringing a good wing back on the right hand side. This is someone that's going to be on support, so need someone a wee bit well-rounded. But we do have 72 million to spend, and then obviously with a few players going out the door, we're going to have a lot more money and wages that we can push into the transfer budget. But all in all, boys, I think a fucking fantastic second season. Won the league, won the cup, didn't do great in the Champions League, but unfortunately in the knockouts, when you get Liverpool, it can make things a little difficult. But boys, let's jump over into Season 3. So boys, then moving over into Season 3, we've had a few players go out because the Premiership may have come calling. The first one out the door was young Bino Giddens. Look, honestly, one I was happy enough to sell. Spurs come in and offered us a very, very good offer. 52 million in total, working its way up to 67 million for a player, honestly, that's not really starting. But unfortunately, we did lose Matthias Tell because he wanted to go to Man United. They come in and offered. I said no, he got upset. So we did work up a deal for 45 million. Look, we paid 35 for him, got 45. I would have liked to get a wee bit more money, but this was the max that they would go for. Look, we made a profit of 10 million. Then another one we unfortunately lost was Kobel, the Chelsea keeper. I do not want to sell. We didn't even really get that much for him. I feel like 42 million is not a lot. I would have wanted like 50 to 60 million. I think he's honestly one of the best keepers in the game. But unfortunately, when the Premiership knocks that door, generally most of the players answer. Then, of course, I did talk about getting rid of Jan Kota. Look, I think he's a good player, but just like I feel like, I don't know, he doesn't play. I want someone in there a wee bit bigger, a wee bit more physicality. So we sold him on the Juventus, working its way up to 32 million. Look, they paid 30, so we made £2 million in profit. And of course, we also sold on Özcan. I think he only had a wee bit of time left on his contract, so I just wanted to cash in on that. We ended up selling him to Brighton for a total of 20 million. Look, I was more surprised whenever Brighton offered than you were. I didn't think I was going to get this much money for him. I was thinking like 10, 11 million, but if they want to offer 28, I'll not say no. And then the last person we sold was Bier. We sold him on to Union Berlin. I think it was like 7.7 million. So we ended up making a total of like 210 million this window. Of course, we did end up bringing in Gahey on a free contract alongside young Lamine Yamal. But of course, with losing Özcan and stuff, we needed a wee bit more grit in the midfield. So I brought in Steeler. He cost us a total of 17.7 million. I think this is a very, very good deal. He's a player that a lot of people in real life are looking after. He's got a very, very good reputation of being a very hard worker. And for 17 million, I'm pretty happy with this. But to replace Kobel in nets, I brought in young Dennis Seaman. This cost us a total of 18 million. Would have liked to get them a little cheaper, but we sold Kobel for over, 40 million, brought him in for 18, so it's a pretty good deal. He's also German. He's very, very young, 6'4", can play reasonably well, both feet. Good mentality, consistent, has a long way to go to improve. Is he ready to just be thrust into the first team? Ideally, I would have liked to have him for a couple of seasons and then got rid of Kobel, but look, here we are. So he's our first choice keeper for a season, but I think he's more than capable. Then I also wanted to bring in a xuanduong. We talked about this from season 1. It's going to cost us a lot of money because he is very, very highly rated in this database. Look, we could have got him a little cheaper in the first season with a loan deal, but then that ended up going tits up. He ended up costing us 15 million, which honestly hurt my soul a little bit, but the potential is there. 20 years old, 6'3", very, very physical, good on the ball, good mentality, consistent, has a potential to be 4 to 5 star. The 6'3" thing is one of the things that I really do use. No, I love big physical players in my team. FM also seems to enjoy it as well. But because we lost Matthias Tell, we were going to need a wee bit more sort of firepower up top. So I brought in Victor Garhares. But this was also one, he was upset. He spaghetti wanted to go to a stronger club. So here we are. It cost us a total of 48 million, which I think is honestly a very, very good deal for someone as good as him. But he's 6'2". He works hard, and I switched one of our strikers to a pressing forward. I really, really enjoy pressing forward, but he's got the natural fitness, the stamina. He's a very, very big goal threat. As you can see, already scored 9 goals in 5 games, so seems to be working out pretty well. But with everybody in the door and everybody out the door, this is what the team looks like for season 3. Seaman and Nets, Schlotterback and Gehi. Of course, this is going to be Nianzou and Beidou. There's going to be a lot of interchanging. I'm going to play Namicha at right back. This will interchange between him and Emre Can. Obviously, Emre Can, dude, I would love to play him into here, but he's going to be 33 this year, and his stats are already starting to degrade. He's a little injury prone. Otherwise, I would just play him in there. I'd be perfectly fine with that. Darvuj on the left, Canuzan, xuanduong, and Lamine Mall as our midfield, and then Gao Karas, like I said, in the pressing forward, and Viper up top. This team is, I'm excited for this team. We also, the main thing I'm excited about as well, we've kept a lot of German players in the team. Seaman, Nets, Schlotterback, Namicha, Darvuj, Can, and xuanduong and Viper are all German. We also have Stiller, Brandt, Makoku, and Emre Can. I've also brought this wee guy up from the under 18s, and Patrick Beidou. Going to get him a wee bit of football. Look, this is just, I want to see what he's capable of. See if we can throw him into a few games, give him a wee bit of football. Obviously, if he doesn't massively progress this year or get a ton of football, we'll just probably send him out on loan. But he's one that could be very, very interesting. Got a lot of talent. He's only 17 years old. He's also German, so it helps with registration and stuff. But this is the team for season 3. I think we can do some serious damage. Obviously, we won the league last year. We won the cup last year. The Champions League, we get unfortunately knocked out by Liverpool in the knockout stages. Like, we couldn't have got a smaller team, but this is the Champions League. Look, if you want to win it, you end up having to beat the big teams. And unfortunately, we just couldn't do that. We threw it away in the first leg. But I'm very, very happy with this team. I think we've brought in a lot of really, really good players and strengthened the squad. Our squad depth is looking very, very good. But boys, obviously, we're going to go play season 3. I'll bring you back in January if there's anybody in the approach of signs that I'm interested in signing. And of course, in March for the youth intake. Obviously, if you don't see the youth intake, it just means it was shit. Like it's been for the last 2 years, unfortunately. But that's enough crying about that. Let's go play season 3. So boys, we are at the end of season 3. I'm hoping we can continue the good form of just absolutely smashing Bayern. It warms my heart. So let's jump over, see how we did in the league. So we started things off against Wolfsburg in the first day of the season. We started off with a nice little Lamine Yamal goal. Or of a deflection, but we say nothing. Then Young Can scored from a penalty to make it 2-0. Gao Karas then made it 3. Then in the 85th minute, big Sebastian Haller made it 4-0. We have signed him on a new contract for 2 years. He kind of deserves it. So then we faced off against Bayern Munich midway through the season. We started off the scoring through young Canuzan. Bayern then equalised 15 minutes later through Kane. Some terrible defending from us. They got in to make it 2-1. And then to bring us back down to earth after a fantastic start to the season, they then scored another goal in the 85th minute to make it 3-1 on the night. But then the only way to bounce back from getting your cheeks absolutely clapped is to go and clap the cheeks off somebody else. And we did that against Bayer Leverkusen. We started off the scoring through a nice goal from Hassan Quadrago. On the 60th minute, young Mokoku made it 2-0. And then right on the 87th minute, we then made it 3-0 through Felix Namicha. Which then meant in season 3, we have won the league again, boys. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. Like, joking aside, I always seem to do well in the league. It's the Cups and the Champions League where I struggle, especially the Cups and Champions League. I feel like I do okay, but the Cup is always where we just fall apart. But the league, I seem to do pretty well. And as you can see, we played 34 games, 25 wins, 6 draws against Freiburg, Leipzig, Werder Bremen, Rare, Augsburg. We should be winning that. HSV, we should be winning that. And then we had 3 defeats. Bayern actually beat us both times in the league, and Union Berlin slapped us 3-1. We had 52 goal difference and then 81 points. So we ended up winning the league by 8 points, which is absolutely fantastic. But the next set of stats is where things are fun. Gao Keres is the #1 top goal scorer, and Viper is right in behind him, 20 and 19. Harry Kane's not even in here. It's great to see these two just scoring a absolute bucket load of goals. Nelson Viper is in there for average ratings for the season. Darvuch is up there for assists at the top. Viper is also in there for player of the matches. We don't have anybody in clean sheets, but like I said, we kind of go at teams. We really do. Like, we push it. We don't really get a lot of clean sheets, but we score a lot of goals. And that always shows in the team stats as well. Most points per game is us again. Most goals. We scored 93. I was kind of trying to keep a trend of us scoring over 100 goals. But look, it is. I'm very, very happy. We outscored everybody in the league. Most shots for is obviously going to be us with the amount of goals we scored. Few shots against. We're down in 5th, but like I said, I'm not too massively worried about this. Most clean sheets is Bayern. I would like us to be kind of up in like a 3rd, maybe in and around there. So I would like us to concede a wee bit less goals. And then Fuse conceded, we're in there in 5th again. But like I said, with us scoring as many goals as we do, like, I'm pretty happy. You can't have exactly both all the time. Scoring a ton of goals and not conceding. It is a hard balance. But like I said, this has been fantastic league. We always do really, really well in the league. How did we do in the cup? I usually don't show the first round, sort of like couple of rounds of the cup. I kind of work up towards like the quarterfinals of where we went out. But I wanted to show you this. In the first round, obviously we played a smaller team, but we slapped them 17-1. Viper and Gao Keres both scored 5 goals each. But that is where the fun ended, because in the second round, we get beat 3-1 by Mainz. So my terrible cup run does continue. I don't know what it is about the fucking cups. I just can't seem to get them in the bag sometimes. Sometimes we do okay, and then sometimes we get absolutely obliterated. I think we just spunked our load in the 17-1 win and just couldn't get any more goals. But conceding 3 against Mainz, not great. But look, that's done and dusted. How did we do in the Champions League? It didn't start off too great, because in the league phase in our first match, we got beat 3-1 by Porto. Man City then beat us 2-1. This one I'm not disappointed about, but the team Man City has, I can't be annoyed at a 2-1 defeat. But then we bounced back against Feyenoord, beating them 1-0. We then smashed Anderlecht 5-2. Beat Olympique Marseille 3-1. Had a very close 1-0 win over Arsenal. We then beat Shakhtar 3-1 away. We then had a really hard-fought win over that team I'm not going to try and pronounce. We beat them 5-3. I would love to say we put out a lesser team, but we didn't. We had a very good team out. So that was the end of the league phase. As you can see, we ended up qualifying straight away in 5th. This is absolutely fantastic. We're in and around PSG, Inter, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Man City. We were above Man City. Bayern, Olympique Marseille are actually in there, which is fantastic. So that took us on to the round of 16. Where we faced off against Liverpool after getting them in the knockouts last year. They started off the scoring through Mo Salah. It then took us to the 60th minute to get back into the match with a nice finish from Lamine Yamal. Liverpool then went 2-1 up. Unfortunately, an OG from nets. Not really his fault. The ball just kind of smashed against them and went in. I just noticed they also have Kvaratskhelia. But then we got back into the match with a goal from Big Schlotterback from a corner. But in the 78th minute, they went 3-2 ahead on the night from another corner. We just can't seem to defend corners. So that took us to the second leg, where they actually started off the scoring again through Darwin Núñez. A bit of a soft goal. We hit back straight away through Gao Keres. But they scored straight away through a Mo Salah penalty. But this is where we started to take control of the match. We also got a goal from Gao Keres. Some terrible play from them. Gao Karas then scored a penalty 4 minutes later. 10 minutes later, Viper got one from a corner. On the 68th minute, Gao Karas got his 4th of the night. They then got back one in the 77th minute from a stupid pass, but we were already through 8-6 on the night. So that then took us to the quarterfinals where we faced off against Real Madrid. We did not start well. They scored within 10 minutes. On the 34th minute, Kylian Mbappe made it 2-0. And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, just before halftime, Kylian Mbappe added a second to make it 3-0. He's just so fast. But we didn't give up, and 2 minutes later, we got a goal back through Julian Brandt. Just after halftime, then we got another one through Schlotterbeck. Then on the 80th minute, we made a 3 each on the night with a Julian Brandt goal. Then that took us to the second leg at the Bernabeu, where unfortunately they beat us 1-0 on the night with 1 goal and a silly pass from De Bast that Brahim Diaz in. So unfortunately, this is where our Champions League run ended. Look, I'm very, very happy. Look, we went out 4-3 against Real Madrid. I'm going to take that as a massive positive. Also, I did bring in De Bast, if you've noticed there, right at the end of January. Look, he was up for sale. I brought him in. It costs us a total of 5 million. This is going to be more for squad depth. He can play at right back, he can play at centre back, he can play in midfield, and he was upsetty spaghetti. So I brought him in just for a wee bit of squad depth. But like I said, all in all, I think we've had a fantastic season. We won the league. We're not going to talk about the cup. Okay, the cup never happened. Just to let you know, the cup. The cup was rescinded this year. We didn't get invited. I wish we didn't get invited. Look, after winning 17-1 in the first match, I actually thought we were going to do really well in the cup, and then it just went absolutely tits up against Mainz. And like I said, we did put out a good team. Like, we didn't put out a terrible team at all. Like, I wanted to win the cup. But the Champions League, look, I'm very, very happy. Look, we beat Liverpool. I'm very, very happy with that after them putting us out last year. And then we had a very, very hard-fought game against Real Madrid in the quarters. The young Dennis Seaman did very, very well in his first season. 46 games, did concede 64. But like I said, this is going to happen with how we're playing. We go out to score goals. He had 12 clean sheets. Would like to see this go up a little bit. But let's be honest, if it was going to happen, it would have happened. But now, we outscore people we play against. Well, we try to. That's had a very, very good season. 45 games, 6 goals, 18 assists. Like I said, I brought in young De Bast in January just to cover for a wee bit on the right-hand side and busy in centre back as well. Played 15 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. For 5 million, look, there's no risk. And he's a very, very good young player that's super versatile. Schlotterbeck played 32 games, 6 goals, 5 assists. Argehi in his first season played 34 games, no goals, but got 1 assist. Darvuch had a very, very good season. I had a few little random niggles, as you can see. He only played 34 games all season, but he had 8 goals and 17 assists. And xuanduong looking very, very good. Him and Darvuch and Asango Drago are progressing very, very well. Played 41 games, 5 goals, 5 assists. Then beside him, big Asango Drago, once again, we only brought him in January, played 33 games, 7 goals, 7 assists. We have a very, very good physical team as well. Like, Darvuch is what, like 6'1", 6'2", xuanduong is 6'2", Asango Drago 6'3", so like we do have a big physical team. Lamine Yamal, even though he's not a big physical player, he's still 6 foot. Played 40 games, 11 goals and 13 assists. Gao Karas in his first season, 40 games, 33 goals, 7 assists. Viper had another great season, 44 games, 31 goals, but he also had 11 assists, so he had 42 goal involvements in 44 games. Not bad for a guy we bought pretty cheap. Tanguy Nianzou also played 11 games. He got a wee bit of an injury and couldn't play him. He's upset, he's spaghetti. He wanted to play more games, but he was fucking injured. So I don't understand how I'm meant to play him. But he got himself 2 goals. Samson Beidou, unfortunately, got a really, really bad injury about February. He ended up breaking his lower leg. As you can see, he's expected to still be out. It was up to like 5 to 6 months. So we're not going to see him for a little bit. But he did play 22 games, 17 off the bench and 1 assist. Unfortunate because he was actually playing pretty well. Then big Angelo Stiller started 9 games, 32 off the bench, 1 goal and 4 assists. Even though he didn't start, we didn't bring him in to be a starter. He got a lot of football. Emre Can, even though he still upset his spaghetti at absolutely everything, started 17 games, 23 off the bench, 4 goals, 9 assists. What's he upset about now? Unhappy with treating Sebastian Haller? What do we do with Haller? We actually give Haller a new contract. Maybe he wants to play more games. Felix Namicha, another one I'm so happy that he's just happy to be a squad player and get some football. Started 26 games, 21 off the bench, 6 goals, 5 assists. Makoku, one that's probably not really going to progress massively much more. Started 19 games, 9 off the bench, 4 goals, 2 assists. Like I said, he can probably progress, maybe get another like half a star. But look, he's happy to be a squad player and I'm happy to keep him around because he's very versatile. Julian Brandt, another one, like I said, we were able to actually give a new contract, which is fantastic. I wanted to keep him around. 21 games played, 27 off the bench, 6 goals, 8 assists. He's also wanted by Chelsea. So we may end up losing Brandt if, you know what it's like when the Premiership comes calling. Sebastian Haller started 7 games, 16 off the bench, 8 goals, 3 assists. Like I said, we give him a new contract. He's happy to be a fringe player. So I don't know what's upset. Wants to return to France. Right, so he actually wants to leave and go back home. Who actually wants him? Olympic Leon. Look, I'm happy to sell him. If we get like 5-6 million for him, I'll happily move him on. We'll just bring another striker in. Sabitzer, another one that wants to leave, but he's also 33 years old, and look, his physical stats are starting to hit really bad. This is the thing I don't understand. He's got good natural fitness, good stamina, good work rate, good determination, and his physical stats are just absolutely tanking. For a player that's so physically fit, obviously this is a football manager thing that I hope that they end up changing down the line. If players have good natural fitness, like their physical stats shouldn't degrade that fast. He's only 33. 33 in football now is not that old. It really isn't. But he wants to leave. But he did get 3 starts, 25 off the bench. But I understand he's in the later parts of his career, wants to go into football. So we're probably going to look to move him on. Who's interested in him? So Swallow, look, we're probably only going to get about $500,000 for him. But it takes 125,000 off the wages. All in all, boys, I'm very, very happy with the season. Look, the cup, joking aside, we just didn't do great. That's something we need to rectify next year. But the Champions League and the league, I'm super, super happy with. This team, I don't look at the team and be like, right, we need to change anywhere. Obviously, I would like a wee bit of a better right back. I think the Bast, like I said, I brought him in for 5 million for squad depth because we had a few injuries. Like I said, Beidou being out for 6 months. Like I was like, fuck, we're going to need to bring somebody in. I was just looking around and the Bast was on the transfer list. And I was like, 5 million. Look, he's not as good as Beidou, but it'll do for the rest of the season. This team I'm happy with. This is the only change I think I would make. I still think we need a better right wing back. I really, really do. I was kind of hoping one of the wee wonder kids would come through like the youth team or something. But like I said, we haven't had anybody great yet. So Seaman, Nets, Man City have been all over Nets. In January, it was a fucking nightmare. He was upset until like March because Man City offered for him 3 times. I don't want to get rid of him. I want to keep Nets in the team. So Nets, Schlotterback, and Gehi. Schlotterback also has a new contract, so he doesn't have the release clause, so that's really good. And then Darvuj, Uzan, Asango Drago, and Yamal's our midfield is ridiculous. And then Gao Karis and Viper up top. Super, super happy with this. Like I said, right back is going to be something we do need to strengthen. We have 104 million because obviously all the players that we sold, I didn't really overly spend a lot. We still had 160 million left and I just didn't spend it. Look, I'm not going to go out and just spend money for the sake of spending money. I want to spend the property. I just noticed Javi Guerrero has went to Bayern. That's not great. But boys, moving to season 4. So then going into season 4, like I said previously, the only position we really need someone is right back. I have filled that position with someone I'm super, super happy with. I wasn't planning on doing a lot of business this window. Like I said, there was only the rest of the team I was very, very happy with. But yeah, a few players left. And the first one was Gao Karis over to Liverpool. Look, if anybody's watched any of my saves, I love Gao Karis. Big, strong, physical, he works hard. Look, there's nothing better than having a really, really good striker that has 19 work rate, 20 natural fitness. He's an absolute unit at 6'2", 18 strength. I can never fucking keep this guy. Every time I've ever had him in a save, I've had him for like a season and then he's wanted to leave to go to a bigger club. I understand. Look, it's Liverpool. He has a chance of winning the Champions League and the fucking Premiership and stuff. I get it. But I can never keep a hold of him. So, Ryle Louis deal, 65 million up front, working its way up to 90 million. So look, we got him for fucking what? 48 million, sold him on for pretty much double that. Not a player I ideally wanted to sell. Then the next one out the door was Julian Brandt. This was one that, look, I was happy to keep in the squad. He didn't want to sign a new contract. He only had a year left. So I thought, right, if he's not going to sign a new contract, we're just going to get him out the door. I sold him over to Villarreal for 29.5 million. Look, a pretty good deal. He now has a release clause of 112 million. Then we eventually got rid of Big Remy. Obviously, I had him loaned out last year. I just could not get rid of him. He didn't want to go. We sold him over to Nice for 11 million. I think this is a good deal for both people. Then obviously, Sebastian Haller wanted to go back to France. So we sold him back. Say back like he's played there before. Hold on, he has actually played there before. I actually didn't know Sebastian Haller played for Auxerre. I just said the wrong words. We sold him back to Auxerre for a total of 5 million. Look, I would have been once again happy to keep him, but look, he was 33, wanted to go back to France, so we sent him home. But we did unfortunately lose one of our wonder kids from our youth system, and that is xuanduong.animation. He wanted to go to Arsenal for a total of 1.7 million. I wanted a wee bit more cash for him, but look, he's okay, but he's one of those ones I kind of wanted to keep around, see how he progressed, but he wanted to go to Arsenal. We then, on top of that, lost Lucas Bayer, another one. This is one that I actually wanted to keep because he has a lot of potential. I was actually training him to play as a right back. I was working on his dribbling, his finishing, and his technique. I was like, right, okay, look, he's reasonably quick, good mentals, good technicals. We could probably train him to be a right back. He's also 6'1", he's German. And then he didn't want to sign a new contract because basically, who was the original team? I think it was Chelsea put in for him. I rejected him, and then he wouldn't sign a new contract because there was interest shown on him, and then Leipzig came in and offered him. So we end up getting rid of him for 1.1 million. I think it worked. Yeah, works his way up to 2.3. Obviously, would have liked a wee bit more cash. I don't like losing young players, especially him, because I had plans for him. So the next one that went out the door was Prince Ning. Look, we had him loaned out for a couple of seasons. I just wanted him to get a wee bit better. I was going to bring him back this year. He wouldn't sign a new contract, and Lens ended up picking him up on the free, or Lons, whatever way you want to pronounce it. This one's actually kind of disappointing because I actually wanted to bring him back and have him and Luka Nets just interchange. Then one of our young defensive midfielders, Mirnes Mujic. This is one of the guys that came through the youth system a couple of seasons ago. Starting to look pretty good. I have loaned him out to the season to Toulouse just to get him a wee bit of football. Look, I think he's very, very good, but he needs a couple seasons. I want to bring him back when he's like 19 or 20, give him a couple seasons of like first team football. He has some very, very good stats. Amazing determination, teamwork and work rate's fantastic. He can pass, his vision's good, physical stats are good, he can play reasonably well, both feet, good mentality, super consistent. So want to get him out, get him some football. So then obviously with all the people going out the door, we were going to need to bolster the squad a little bit. I have brought this young guy in on loan from AC Milan. He looks very, very good. One, he's only 18 years old. He's a good mentality. He's 6'2". His physical stats are insane. He's got 15 strength, 16 jump and reach, and 16 heading at 18 years old. We do have an optional fee in his contract for 9 million. I did try to buy him. I offered 7.5. They came back with 46. So I loaned him in and got him a lot cheaper. Obviously going to give him a ton of football. Then in January, offer him a contract or offer the transfer and then try and get him a contract, get him in the door. He's one, I think, for the future. Very Lorenzo Luca-esque. Obviously not as tall. He's 6'2". Lorenzo Luca's like 6'7", but with that aero reach and the jumping and the heading and the strength, 15 strength already at 18 years old. Then we spent 1.4 million on another keeper. This is obviously just as a backup. He's German. He was transfer listed, 6'6". Just in case Seaman gets hurt, we do need another keeper. Then I also brought in Eric Martel. This was agreed from last year with the last transfer budget. This was one because we were losing Emre Can and we were losing Sabitzer, and we need like another defensive midfielder to play in the team. Also, he can play in a multitude of positions. He can play centre back, DM, and centre midfield. He's German. He's still only 25 years old. This costs a total of 20.5 million because that's what his buyout clause was. I think this is a good investment. He's also 6'2". He works hard, super physical. He's got a good mentality, consistent, enjoys the big games. Everything you need. And for 20 million, he's going to bolster the team up pretty good. Then for my right back position, I brought in Ousmane Diomande. Look, this is a couple of things to think of behind this. One, yes, he can play right back, but he can carry the ball. His first touch is good, his passing's good, his vision's good, physical stats are absolutely insane. He can play with both feet. He's 23. He can also play centre back. He can also play DM. So once again, it adds a massive amount of versatility to the team. It did cost us 41.5 million, which I think is an absolute steal for a player like Diomande. But the big one is Florian Wirtz. Obviously, with losing Gao Keres, we needed to fill the hole of a world-class player straight away. I didn't want to bring somebody in that was like 18. We had a couple of seasons for him to be good. I needed someone in the door now. And also, he's 24. He's German. He's absolutely fantastic. He's got an amazing mentality. Enjoys the big games. Super consistent. He did cost us a total of 80 million, but we did just sell Gao Keres for 90. So we actually made a profit of 10 million and brought in a player which I honestly believe is probably a better player for that position. because he's going to be playing in the deep lane forward role right on behind Viper. The thing, like I said in the previous season, the thing that I love is I've kept a lot of German players. Seaman, Netz, Schlotterbeck, Darvuch, Kahn, Quadrago, Viper, and Wirtz are all German. Darvuch is actually playing now for France. I just noticed this at the start of the season. He got his first cap for France, so he switched over from Germany to France. Still a German citizen, so we're okay. So the only people in the team that aren't actually German is Gahey, Diamande, and Lamine Yamal. But this is a very, very dangerous team. Lamine Yamal was also, that was the original plan. Lamine Yamal, Man United come in for him, and was Chelsea come in for him. I was like, fuck, we're going to lose Lamine Yamal, and I was going to replace him with Florian Wirtz, and then Yamal stayed, and then we ended up losing Gao Karas and got Wirtz anyway. So it all kind of worked out. But this team is looking very, very dangerous. I'm also very, very happy with the squad depth. Sabitzer has signed a contract extension, and so has Mane, so we're keeping them in the club. So has Mokoku and Felix Namiche. I'm very, very happy to have him around. I want this squad to stay for as long as possible. But boys, that's enough rambling. This is going to be the team for season 4. I think we've done very, very well. It's going to be interesting to see how Wirtz steps up and plays in that role in behind Viper. Obviously, I'll bring us back in January for anybody that's good for approach signs, and then bring us back in April for the youth intake. I haven't actually brought us back for youth intake because they've all been bang average. Actually, I think I brought you the first one, didn't I? So we're 1-4. But boys, that's enough messed about. Let's go play season 4. So we're at our youth intake. There's only one player that's actually really good, and he's an absolute banger. Is this guy, Marvin Meyer? He's 15-year-old German keeper. Got a good mentality. He's consistent, a little injury prone, but keepers don't really tend to get injured that much. But like communication of 14, handling of 14, kicking of 15, 14 reflexes. Yeah, for a 15-year-old keeper, I think, boys, we may be okay for keepers for the next 10 years. So, boys, we're at the end of season 4. Obviously, staying consistent in the league is a massive thing. Obviously, I want to get better in the cup this year. I feel like going out in the second round of the cup after winning 17-1 in the first round, I feel like was a wee bit anticlimactic. So I kind of want to do a little better now. Obviously, the Champions League, just keep doing what we're doing and just keep progressing and working our way up. We made it to the quarterfinals, put out Liverpool, unfortunately got beat by 1 goal against Real Madrid. So, like, we're a pretty good Champions League team now. I think we've established ourselves there, also established ourselves in the league. The cup, obviously, we've won it once. I would like to win it again. But first things first, let's see how we did in the league. So we started the season off really strong against Leverkusen. Can Uzan with the first goal. 5 minutes later, we made it 2-0 through Mokoku. 4 minutes later, Mokoku then added a second to the game to make it 3-0. But he wasn't done then. 10 minutes later, he got his hat-trick to make it 4-0. Can Uzun then made it 5. Stiller then made it 6. In the 65th minute, Viper then got on the score sheet to make it 7. In the 60th minute, they got a consolation goal, but at this point, the match was over. So we ended up beating Leverkusen 7-1 on the day. Then later on the season, we faced off against Bayern, obviously wanting to get revenge for the 2 defeats last year. We slapped them up 3-0. We started off the scoring through Wirtz. Our second goal was then an OG. And then young Can Uzun in the 65th minute made it 3-0 on the night to get some revenge on Bayern Munich. But on top of that, we also had a fantastic match against RB Leipzig. We ended up beating them 2-0. Mokogu started the scoring. Young Netz then made it 2-0. Strange to see a left back scoring, but he seems to do pretty well. And with all those fantastic results, we retained the league. That is 3 years in a row. Like I said, we always seem to do really, really well in the league in these rebuilds. We actually, considering the games that we played, like we beat Bayern, we beat Leverkusen, we smashed actually Leverkusen quite a few times. We only won the league by 5 points. We played 34 games, 23 wins. We had 8 draws against Frankfurt, Hoffenheim, Freiburg, Weber, Bayer, Mönchengladbach, HSV, and Leipzig. Those games, honestly, the Hoffenheim, the Werber game, and the HSV, I think we should be winning those. But obviously, look, a draw isn't gonna kill us in the league. But like, it's just, look, I'm being a completionist. I feel like we should be winning those. We only had 3 losses once again all season: the Köln, Augsburg, and Hertha Berlin. The funny thing is, we didn't lose to any of the big teams. The Augsburg, I would say, Probably 2 of those games we should definitely be winning, but we had a 59 goal difference and we finished the league on 77 points. You're probably looking down here and you're like, Mark, Florian Wirtz is the top goal scorer. I know Viper got a really bad injury halfway through the season. He was out for probably about 3.5 months, so he missed a good portion of the season. So Wirtz ended up being our top goal scorer with 18. I'm not complaining. He did absolutely fantastic. Wirtz and Viper both in there for average ratings, and behind Selke. Then assists, we had Wirtz and Viper in there as well. Viper, strange to see Viper in there. So for me, usually whenever I have my team builds, it's usually my wing backs that end up getting loads of assists. But in this formation, it seems to be the strikers that do quite a lot of the heavy lifting, which is fantastic. If you've got 2 good strikers, you're going to smash it. But we also have Dennis Seaman in there with clean sheets, which means either we didn't concede a lot or we just didn't score a shit ton, because we're only at 59 goal difference. So let's go and see that. Most points per game, we're up there a game at 2.26. We only scored 87. I say 87. Look, we're still massively ahead of everybody else. I would rather score 87 goals and concede less. Like I said, the first couple seasons we scored 100 goals, 103 goals, but we were leaking like maybe 30 to 40, 45 goals, which I kind of wanted to come down a little bit. Most shots on goal, obviously us by a large margin. Fewer shots against, we were up in third, a vast improvement from last year. Most clean sheets, we're top. Colin are right in behind us. But this is what makes me happy. Fewest conceded, 28. So we scored 87 and only conceded 28 in the league. And that's exactly where I wanted us to be. Just performing really, really well. Look, we only drew 8 games and lost 3. I'm very, very happy with that. But the league out of the way, let's see how we did in the cup. Please don't go out in the second round. So we kicked things off in the quarterfinal of the cup against FC Cologne. We had a very, very good game. We started off the score and it was an OG to start things off, but I think Viper would have got the goal anyway. But then 20 minutes later, Viper actually got his own goal to put us 2-0 up. Big Schlotterback made a 3. They got bombed back in the 70th minute to make a 3-1. Sabitzer then added our 4th of the game. Then to round things off in the 80th minute, Lamine Yamal scored to finish the game 5-1. So then that took us to the semi-finals where we faced off against Werber. We got on the scoring pretty early with young Hassan Quadrago. Not a bad finish. Then in the 70th minute, Moukoko made it 2-0 to take us to the final. Where we faced off against Hoffenheim, we started off the scoring in the 26th minute, young Lamine Yamal. Not a bad solo run. Florian Wirtz then made it 2-0. They got one back just after half-time. We were too strong, and then Big Nico got one from a corner to win us the cup. So boys, the cup has come back to us. Look, we've won the cup 2 years out of 4. Last year was an absolute nightmare. I don't want to keep talking about it. It actually makes me cry inside. But to win the cup again, like I said, we were lucky. I don't think we didn't really get any big teams the whole way through the cup. So I think that really helped us. Like the fact that the other teams got put out by sort of smaller teams. We had a pretty good run the whole way through, which was nice. But now we have to see how we did in the Champions League. So we started off the league phase really strong. We beat AZ 5-1 and got absolutely obliterated by Real Madrid 4-0. Then we returned the favour to Benfica and slapped them 4-1. Then we had a great 3-1 win over Fiorentina. But then Arsenal brought us back down to earth with a 4-0 spanking at the Emirates. But then we came back strong against Chelsea, beating them 2-0. Had a hard match against Celtic, beating them 4-2. And then on our final league phase match, we actually get beat 4-2 by Leon. There's a lot of we won, they won, we won, they won. So in the league phase, we actually ended up finishing 11th. Look, still very, very good. I would love to be in the automatic qualification. But look, as long as we qualify, that is all that counts. So that took us to the knockouts where we faced off against Slavia Prague. We gave them a good beating in the first match. We started off the scoring through young Nets. Big Diamande made it 2-0. The big man Viper added his goal to make it 3. Then Florian Wirtz got in on the act, making it 4-0. Stiller with a great free kick to make it 5. Not bad for a DM. And then Big Hassan Quadrago made it 6-0 on the night. So in the second leg, we started off the scoring through Mark Gahey. Our young wonder kid then made it 2-0 to put us through 8-0 in aggregate. So in the round of 16, we faced off against Inter Milan. Obviously going to be a very difficult game, but we started off the scoring through Big Viper. In the 80th minute, we made it 2-0, which then took us to the San Siro. With the 2-0 lead, we had a very, very good chance of going through. We started off the scoring through, you'll never guess, Viper. Then Yamal made it 2-0. Then with an absolute defensive blunder by us, we let them back in. Big Marcus Thuram scored, but it was already over at this point. We went through 4-1. So in the quarterfinals, we faced off against old nemesis Chelsea. We seemed to play them quite a lot. We once again started off the scoring through Viper. Not a bad finish. Luka Nets then made it 2-0. Moukoko then made it 3. But we weren't done there. Moukoko got himself a second goal to make it 4-0 in the first leg, which then took us to Stamford Bridge in the second leg. We knew this was going to be a hard game, but we started off the scoring through Verts. They hit back 10 minutes later. But then 4 minutes later, we made it 2-1. But then 10 minutes later, they made it 2 each, but we were already through 6-2. Which then took us to the semi-finals against PSG. They started off the scoring through Xavi Simons. They then added a second in the 65th minute. And then unfortunately for us, in the 80th minute, they made it 3-0 in the first leg. So being 3-0 down from the first leg, we had our work cut out for us in the second leg. We actually started off with scoring. But boys, unfortunately, that's where our Champions League fun ended. We made it hard for ourselves because of the slapping we took in the first match. If we would have given a better account of ourselves in the first match and not, say we get beat 1-0 and then going into the next game, we only would have had a 1-goal deficit. Coming back, we would have had to beat PSG 4-0 in the second match, which is very, very difficult to do. But all in all, look, I'm a little upsetty spaghetti because of the first match score, but we won the league. We won the cup. We also won the German Super Cup at the start of the season. And then we made it to the Champions League semi-final with a very, very good young team. I think we have built something absolutely fantastic here. Young Seaman played 51 games, 48 conceded, a lot better. It was, 65 last year and 24 clean sheets. Don't worry, he's only upset he's spaghetti because he wants a new contract. I've already offered him that. Young Luka Nets played 48 games, 8 goals, 17 assists. Diamonde played 43 games, 6 goals, 11 assists. Schlotterbeck, 43 games, 3 goals, 7 assists. He actually got himself a few goals and assists this year. He played 43 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. He actually had over a 7 rating as well. Noah Darvuch didn't get as many assists and goals this season, but I know he had a few niggles here and there. Played 45 games, 10 goals, 9 assists, but he have over a 7 rating for the season. He's also looking absolutely fantastic. Young Can Uzun did have a few knocks. He only started 26 games all season, but he had 28 off the bench, 13 goals, 5 assists, another one that's looking fantastic. The big man of San Quadrago was pretty much fit the entire season, 53 games played, no substitute appearances, 10 goals and 9 assists. Lamine Yamal had a very, very good season as well, 44 games played, once again had a few niggles, didn't start every game, 15 goals and 14 assists, so 29 goal involvements. Florian Wirtz had an absolute banger of a season. For a guy that's a little injury prone, he played 54 games, 27 goals and 16 assists. And then, like I said, Big Viper had that injury that kept him out for a couple months, so he only started 41 games, but he got 20 goals and 17 assists, so basically 37 goal involvements in 41 games. Not bad for a guy that we paid, 3.2 million for? Weirdly, Nyanzu actually didn't get a lot of football. He only started 1 game with 6 off the bench. Samson Beidou did actually get a lot of football and didn't get that. Obviously, he had to come back from that big injury last year as well. His broken lower leg takes a while. He started 27 games, 18 off the bench, no goals, got 2 assists and an over 7 rating. Eric Martel, unfortunately, didn't get a lot of football. He is upsetty spaghetti, which kind of makes sense. So hoping next year he can get a wee bit more. Stiller actually started a good amount of games, 44 games started, 12 off the bench, 9 goals and 8 assists. Obviously, between Can Uzan and Darvuch getting injured, he got a lot more football. Amicia, unfortunately, only started 1 game, but he had 36 off the bench, 2 goals, 3 assists. But he is classed as a squad player, so this makes sense. Moukoko actually got a ton of football this year. 29 games started, 27 off the bench, 16 goals. He actually had quite a few hat tricks. He's actually starting to look a lot better as well. I know he's not going to progress much more in this, but I'm really, really happy. Look, he's a very, very versatile squad player. The young kid, Gamili, We've confirmed the signing of him. I did this, I think it was January I did this. Only started 2 games, but he got 29 off the bench, 2 goals, 1 assist. He is probably more likely going to be our long-term replacement for Viper. So all in all, boys, a fantastic season. Like I said, we won the league, won the cup, won the Super Cup, made it the semi-final of the Champions League, and the team that we have built is looking very, very good. We do have a few wonder kids coming in for next year. Some of them have the potential to be absolutely fantastic, and that's one thing I did want to do, was just build that up. We, like I said, we ended up loaning the Bast out. He just wasn't getting a lot of football, but I still want to let him keep progressing, and he wanted to go out on loan to get some football, so we loaned him out for a season. Strangely, only got 1 game, even though he was set as an important player for them. He only started 1 game. This happened at the end of January. So, yeah, that loan deal didn't go too well. Then, like I said, this was the wee young wonder kid that we had come through our youth intake. I couldn't remember the name of it was. He actually came through in the first season. He looked okay. If you vaguely remember, he was the pick of the bunch, and I was like, he actually looks pretty decent. Didn't know how well he would progress. Loaned him out for the season. He played 51 games. 1 goal, 11 assists, over 7 rating. He is valued at 71 to 83 million. He looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm probably more than likely going to loan him out for another season, just get him a wee bit more football. And then, like I said, you're going to have Big Emmanuel, the one that's going to replace Viper at some point. He's a little inconsistent, so this may hurt him down the line. But look, even if you want to keep Viper in the team and just have him as a backup, he is a very, very good backup. 17 jump and reach, 16 head, and 6'3". He's a big unit of a boy. He's also very strong. You also have the young keeper that we just got on our youth intake, Marvin Mayer. I think he's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I know he's a little injury prone, but keepers usually are okay when it comes to getting injuries. He's only 5'10", but he's only 15 years old. So I'd say he'll probably be like 6'1" in and around there. Probably a little short for a keeper, but he'll be a phenomenal keeper. We also have the young Patrick Albardu, who we got actually in our first youth intake. It's wild. Some of the youth intakes, the players don't look that great, and then a couple of years later, bang, they look amazing. He's a little inconsistent, but one that could be a very, very good squad player. But he does have a good mentality, which means he's going to progress very, very well. Young Oscar is another one that's meant to have a lot of potential, still only 19 years old. If you are going to play him as a centre back, you probably have to work on his jump and reach and head, and I would ideally probably play him in midfield as like a DM or something, because I think by the time you work on his jump and reach and his heading, you're probably going to use all his attribute points. He's already very, very quick, 13 acceleration, 14 pace, so he would be really good to play in midfield. He's also got an amazing mentality, which is going to help with his progression. But on top of that, you also have 108 million to transfer kitty. You can actually move this around and make it 150 million. On top of that, if you go to my shortlists and go up to the tab up here, you're going to have default and Wonder Kids. If you go to the Wonder Kids shortlist, there is a plethora of absolutely insane Wonder Kids in here. Some of them are set as like C's and D's. Those are the ones that I just scouted from the next gen list. The D ones I haven't looked at yet, but a lot of these, the B's and the A's, are very, very good players. Some of them play for bigger clubs, so you might have to spend a wee bit of that 108 million if you want to bring a specific one in. But I think that's a good spot to stop off for the save. I have done everything with Borussia Dortmund that I wanted to do. I've taken my favorite German team and brought them back up to where they should be, fighting for titles. Sometimes winning the DFB Pokal Cup, sometimes going out in the first round. But we're consistently doing very, very well in the Champions League. Like I said, we won the league 3 years in a row. We won the Champions League, or not won the Champions League, I wish we won the Champions League, won the DFB Pokal twice, and we made it the Champions League semi-final. Obviously, if you take this save on, save, the corner routine, and the tactic will all be in the pinned comments down below. Obviously, just keep doing what I'm doing and just smash it in the league and the cup. Win a Champions League. If you do take a save on, leave in the comments down below and let me know how you get on. What players did you keep? What players did you get rid of? Did you spend 108 million on some fantastic players? I'm always interested to see what people do with these saves. And like I said, I think I've taken Borussia Dortmund to where I wanted them to be. Sometimes it takes us 4 years. Sometimes it takes us 6 or 7. It just depends on how long these saves go on. But I have built a absolutely fantastic team. So if you take this on, you're welcome. Enjoy all the Wonder Kids, but I think that's going to be a good spot to stop off for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Only if you fucking want to, on YouTube. Have yourselves a fantastic day.